They're adding a new game mode that I can't say anything about. It's going to involve the quarry that's in the social hub.
Yep.
There's going to be a whole new game mode in there. Basically, the social hub is going to be free to use. You're going to be able to go to the social hub. I think you're going to be able to play that game mode, and that's going to be free.
What can you tell us about what's going on with the new extraction shooter in Vail and what that looks like?
I'm being told I can tell you everything that I'm working on, but nothing that they're. That's the lowdown.
Okay. Do you want to explain like what you're doing with this right now, like what you're working on?
Yeah. So I basically, like I said, from the ground up, wrote out the whole game design document, which basically describes the systems, the loop, what players will be doing, the missions, the traders, the everything, the bunkers, the character progression, the factions, just everything. So I've been working really closely with their lead lore expert, he calls himself, who like writes everything out. The lore is still very open-ended, so it's being worked on because we're trying to develop all these extra game modes, and we want the lore to kind of match everything that we're doing, which is very important. I specifically requested to work closely with him because I think immersion and having a believable story in your game is so integral to a popular game. So the second guy I requested to work closely with was their lead art designer. The guy who does all the uniforms, and he designs the ladders, and he designs like all the shit in the game, all that, right? So just to make the game have that extra atmosphere, because from what I learned about Tarkov was they got a ton of inspiration from a game series called Stalker, and Tarkov started their game, and this is what Tabor is doing wrong, but a matter of fact, so Stalker, before they even put their game into an engine, knew exactly what their lore was. They knew exactly what the vibe of the whole game was. They knew the story from beginning to end and what they wanted their game to be. And they went through the development process knowing that and knowing exactly what they wanted out of their game. And I think that had a big part of their success. So I wanted that for Vail. I wanted a very clear understanding of what we wanted this game to be before we got into it. And this is what kills me about Tabor, is that they don't approach their game cycle development like this. They've got the lore is lazy. They're just, kind of making up as they go, whatever, extraction shooter, blah, blah, blah. I think they don't even know what they have, even though what they have is very special. I think they're screwing up those aspects behind it.
Yeah, we did vision. We have another past episode where we went through all the lore, tried to piece together the storyline from random stuff, and that was
a bit tough.
Yeah, not easy, right? It's not easy. I'm being told that I talk to Soul BC every now and then, so I'm being told lore is going to be integrated into their mission system that they're going to be their mission rehaul that they're going to be doing, and I think good. I just anything you can do for lore, do it. Like you don't have to make a game to write. You have to just put pen to paper. Like that's all you got to do. Like to make a good story, because like it's going to, what it does for gamers is it subconsciously immerses developers when they're making the game. It's really important. I don't think people realize it. So Vail, what I wanted to do with Vail is essentially this is the overview, is have a very realistic, grounded, near futuristic tactical shooter with high amounts of customization, such as weapon customization, stocks, grips, pistol grips, barrels, handguards, tac lights, suppressors, like the whole nine. Just have the whole modular weapon system. Yeah, and just have it grounded, realistic, more realistic than it is now. Vail's got the silly overcoats and stuff like that. We don't want that. We want to change I feel like the game's going to be fairly unrecognizable when it's done. It's going to be far more grounded, So that's the plan for Vail.
Yeah, Kitsune, do you have any other questions for him?
Any other insider info? What would you like to know?
Maybe could you tell us all the stuff you know about the lore so far and what you're kind of building?
So the lore, this will be subject to change because I am clashing with the lore guy a little bit, even though he's insanely agreeable and he's been. I actually not really. I think this is generally how it's going to go. The lore is going to be essentially. So I don't know how much you know about the lore so far, but essentially Rayab is a global conglomerate that took over the entire world after all of the elites and the government left the planet because the world was going to shit. Essentially, they were having economic meltdown, widespread climate change, and global disasters, and poverty was taking over. The poor were beginning to eat the rich, so the rich left. Mm-hmm. They basically left a broken infrastructure of government. That a massive the first, this is something I came up with. It was the first $1 trillion conglomerate. But the first $1 trillion conglomerate, Rayab, they basically took over the entire world as one entity. They started feeding the people, building schools, basically trying to rebuild the world in this new futuristic dystopian world, because this happened about 150 years into the future from now. Mm-hmm. So eventually they had scientists. So they essentially sent scientists into orbit because they started getting, they developed interplanetary technology, stuff like that. So they had scientists study asteroids and things like that. They could take asteroids and things flinging by Earth and put them in Earth orbit so they can mine them, basically get more wealth this way, and just add prosperity to the entire world. But the Rayab were obsessed with controlling the population information. So the Rayab are they basically know a lot of information of the old world and the current world that they keep hidden in a huge database called the Athena. And essentially, they are basically controlling the population through information. So the population that is kept ignorant, because Rayab is doing it to protect them. It's like you can't handle the truth type of attitude. The colonists in the orbit who are employed under Rayab, they're under the same umbrella, conglomerate umbrella, developed their own faction, and they developed their own philosophy that they should free people from under Rayab's thumb to go colonate another world. So they want to leave the Earth, and in my mind, they've developed this big social following. So there's a lot of people that believe in the colonist quest to leave the Earth and develop their own democratic society on a different world, which Rayab does not like. They want people to stay on Earth and keep working and keep adding to their economy, because Rayab likes their big kind of controlling conglomerate, right? So they don't like the colonists for this. They don't like that the colonists are adding a social movement. So essentially the colonists are now trying to find the scanners, which I'm making the main part of the gameplay loop. Essentially, the scanner is going to act a little bit like the GPUs. You're going to have to go in. They have a random spawn chance in common areas. You, instead of just scooping them up, and this is another thing that's going to negate naked players, instead of just scooping up these artifacts that have this information that both the Rayab and colonists want, you actually have to take a scanner off of your chest. That every player will have a scanner that acts as a dog tag and a map. It'll have like a holographic information about yourself and like a map that shows your extractions.
Yeah, so kind of like
scanner.
Contractor Showdown.
That seems
Yes, like Contractor Showdown. Actually, I never even thought of that, but yes, exactly like that. So when you kill somebody, you take their scanner and like go and you can collect them just like dog tags in Tarkov. But if you find an artifact, which are kind of like GPUs, you can scan the artifact, but it's going to take about a minute to do. And it's going to cause a lot of glowing light. So if you're in the area, you're going to kind of hear it. If you go into the room, you're going to clearly see there's a scan happening. If you read Vail, there's like a artifact scanning mode. It's going to be like that. Essentially, when you get the scanner, it's going to be filled with a certain amount of information, that very valuable information that everybody wants so badly for themselves, right? If you can extract with that full scanner, you can put it into a data center, which is similar to a crypto mining station, and it gives you passive income. So that'll be the main gameplay loop. I made sure that wasn't going to be like a big focus of the game, but I made sure that was going to be like a big part of it. I just made sure I added a lot of other things you can do in the game, like boss hunt, PvE, PvP, missions. Well, there's going to be a ton of other shit you can do, but that is going to be one of the main things that the war is going to kind of go around. Yeah.
Boss fights in Vail would be sick.
I know. There's so many options that you could have with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love like the world building too. Like even just looking through the maps and that like architecture is so sick.
It's great. It's and it tells a really good story in that game, and that's why I kept harping on these guys. I was like, guys, get lore in focus before we start this, because like I said, the immersion factor is going to be so important. That's what Tarkov got so right. So yeah.
For me, Vail was just a game that came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard of it until like a couple months ago, or like a month ago.
think it was actually Habby. Habby was the one who was like,
right, yeah,
that might have been where I first heard of it.
yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this? This looks sick.
Yeah, and like, do you guys play Vail?
Yeah, I play Vail a lot.
Yeah, just like
I think. We met. We met in I think we were in the same match together, right?
Oh yeah, we were.
That's a while ago.
I remember that. Yeah,
that was actually how I got in touch with Ego. We were just talking.
Oh no way!
Yeah,
that's so cool. Yeah, because I got Ego to join my like competition. Like we wanted to play competitively. We suck so bad. We've lost every game we've ever done competitively. Yeah. But it's for fun, you know. But yeah, no, that's cool that you guys met through that. And you know, it's just so nice. Like in Vail, like shit works, you know.
Yeah. And it feels polished too. It's got that polish,
right?
Yeah. It's same with like you know, Breachers, right? It's got like the same level of polish and like game design that's just really nice to see in a game like that, you know.
Yeah, and like Scott's business model for Ghost of War was, you know, put it out there and get community feedback. In Vail, it's put it out there, but make sure it works completely. Make it 100% finished, then get community feedback. So they do things very differently. Yeah, and obviously the devs at Vail are incredibly talented. I think they only hire like very like novice devs at the Combat Waffle Studios. They hire like new talent, right? Like up and coming talent. Yeah. But that's why the game feels a little like janky and doesn't function well. So
yeah,
we'll see who gets it at the end. This is why I'm so determined to make Vail work, because Ghost of War is just killing it so much that if we come up with anything subpar, it won't work. It's going to fall so flat in their face. And I think that was a warning that they really heard me say. And I think it scared the shit out of them. Yeah. And because it costs a lot of money, especially a game mode like this that's so complex.
Especially in VR, where like in this market, every game that you make kind of has to be an instant hit, right? Like there's just the amount of players.
Absolutely. Like, and they're an indie studio and they work on crowdfunding. Ghost of War does like direct revenue from clients, from us, which is important. It means their product's good, but Vail just does crowdfunding. They're asking people for money. And there's a lot riding on them, and to do this properly. And they've gone through a ton of ups and downs in their company, and their company almost went straight bankrupt. There was almost never a Vail, and because it was almost an absolute money sink. And now they're hitting all-time highs, and they're really, really happy. But going into this extraction shooter, oh man, I gave a huge warning for them, and I was like, you guys got to be careful. Think Cycle Frontier, think Call of Duty DMZ, think like any other extraction shooter that just hasn't even been able to hold a candle to Tarkov. It's because they think they can do this in a new, better way, and they've just been so wrong. They've been so delusional in their thinking. Yeah. And Tropical's like conversation with them, he's just sitting there in silence, like okay, I agree. Let's do this. And I was like, dude, this is going to be the most important thing that we're going to do. And we better do it right.
And like, I don't know. I honestly think it's going to be like a hit, because I know there are like a lot of people who have got tired of Tabor and they need something fresh. But like also the fact that they can combine an extraction shooter and have just normal like game modes at the same time is going to be huge. Unless is it going to
be massive? Yeah.
Is it going to be a separate game, or is it going to be integrated within the base game?
So on the there's an update coming up. He leaked it today, so I can say. So November 7th, they're doing a big update. They're adding a new game mode that I can't say anything about. It's going to involve the quarry that's in the social hub.
Yep.
And there's going to be a whole new game mode in there. What they're going to do is basically the social hub is going to be free to use. You're going to be able to go to the social hub. I think you're going to be able to play that game mode, and that's going to be free for anybody.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, they're going to make the social hub free, and the social hub's cool, right? Like they got the mini golf, and like you can meet people. I love it. It's so cool. I love that they did that update. And it's like, I've met so many people in there, like 1v1ing and stuff.
Yeah, like, it's so fun. It's
great. So
most of the times I've gone there, it's like a lot of like trolling little kids though, because just the quarry. It's so fun to just hide with like a sniper or something, and people are like, "What the hell? Where'd I get shot from?"
Yeah, and that quarry is how they're testing. You know, they're going to be testing the battle royale features, like finding guns randomly, blah blah blah, and they're testing the extraction stuff, and they're just testing a lot of those little mechanics in there. And so the hub's going to be free, and then to play the competitive shooter, like the one, like the team deathmatch and all those, like what we have now, that's going to be what you have to pay for, and then they're going to have the extraction mode, and then they're going to have the battle royale. So like it's all going to be separate, right?
That's actually smart.
How are they going to do that? Is like the base game going to be free, and then everything else is like a DLC?
Essentially, the social hub's going to be free, and then if you choose to buy the game, that's when you'll get all of those modes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's actually sick, though. That's so smart. Being like, it's like basically a demo, right? Because the only reason
you can go into the game and fuck around, exactly. Yeah, I was like, holy shit, this is so clean, right?
Yeah, because that's exactly what happened to me. I think I got like the free trial for Vail because I was on the line. All my friends were like, "Nah, you shouldn't buy it. It's like, it's not as good as it looks." And then I tried the free trial, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, I need to get this." And yeah, instantly sold. So I think that's what a lot of people need, especially like in VR.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great idea. It's kind of like, I think they're copying what Call of Duty did with their Warzone. Like Warzone was free, and you could get like a lot of benefits if you bought the base game. You could get multiplayer and the campaign, and it's very smart. I think that all derived from Fortnite, and how popular that game got, being a free to play.
Well, it's also way better than implementing like a battle pass, because I am so sick of battle passes. I'd rather just something like that, like being able to just like try out the game, and then I'm like, yeah, I like this, and then put money into it, right?
Yeah.
People like free stuff.
Yeah.
People like free stuff. Like, sell people on the polish of the game. You're gonna go in there and be like, this is the best shooter I've ever played. It feels amazing. And like, that's how you should sell your game, not some janky piece of shit demo. Like, this is plagued, especially the VR space, but now it's plaguing, flat screen games, where it's just always early access, always demos, always this janky piece of shit that people are expected to put, throw money at. It makes no sense. It's just a predatory environment. And that's why I look at Tabor sometimes sideways, but at the end of the day, it's a fun game. So I give them slack, but make shit work, like you gotta make shit work.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you know, because you're like on the Vail team now, I guess, do you know Virtual Panda at all? Like, have you talked to him?
I've not talked to him. I just actually the other day, because I'm writing the whole thing out on a Google Docs. He requested editor on my Google Docs, and I granted it to him. So I've not met him. I've not talked to him, but I do his content, and Tropical has talked about him before. Yeah. Tropical talked about him because I was like, basically when Tropical hired me, I was like, dude, I haven't been able to sleep for like 2 days with this like insane imposter syndrome. I've never made a game before. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. And he's like, dude, we hired this YouTuber, and he was talking about Panda, and he's like, it was a really good like partnership, and like things have been really well. And I think Panda lives down Miami with them now, like, to work in their office. So no, he said, trust me, I picked you because I know what I'm doing. And I was like, good. He's a strong leader. He seems confident, and I think that's important. And he's given me a lot of it's big glitch. So it's really cool to have him put his trust in me, especially with this. This is a big one. If I fuck it up, oh man, this would not be good.
I was thinking about that. I was like, I could not take that on. That's just too much responsibility,
It's an incredible amount of stress. Yeah, absolutely. Because,
do you have
like
any
I said, it's important.
experience?
No, none. Like I said, he saw my video where I really dig into the philosophy of why games work. It's kind of like my thing, like. And I've always been interested all my life in what motivates people. And I'm very interested in what motivates players in a video game, and why extraction shooters worked in that way. And you guys watch the video. It's a really good video.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it now. You sold
it's super good. It's like a red. It basically has the Vail guy, the black Vail mask guy, and with the killed in action beside him. And it says 3 reasons why I'm worried about Vail's extraction mode. Yeah. And it looks very daunting.
Oh yeah, I found it here. I'll put it on watch later.
Yeah. So that was the video. And I think, like I said, I think I put some scare. I freaked him out a little bit, because when he told me his ideas on how he wanted to do it with basically you had to bring in a certain amount of gear. You had to basically they weren't going to have wipes, which is fine, but you really have to do this in a proper way. I was like, there's a few things where I'm like, it won't work. I'm telling you now, it just won't work, man. Like what you're telling me, I get why you're coming up with these so-called solutions to your problems. I was so diligent, because obviously I'm nervous and I want to do this right. I was so diligent on my game design document. I even had an entire section of 5 reasons why, of issues that common issues that extraction shooters have. I think one of them was obviously number one was naked runners. And the solutions that we could add to the game to kind of solve them. And
Are they gonna add they're gonna have an AI, right?
Yeah, there's gonna be I want tons of AI factions, enemy players, AI players. I want the game to be just as good as a PvE game as it is a PvP game. Yeah. So it's important. So I added a ton of stuff in there. I did add the tagged and cursed function that Tarkov has. Yeah. And these are functions that Tropical and their entire dev team have no idea existed. They're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, you guys gotta know this because these are things, like I said, these are features that Tarkov added to in order not to limit playstyles. That's why the game's good. I mean, the game's shit, but people really love it, so it keeps up the popularity. So I was like, they added systems and made their lives so much harder because they were super cautious about limiting playstyles. They didn't just take them away. You need to come at it with an approach of adding systems to regulate the game, not take away systems to control the player base. It won't work. Yeah. So I feel very strongly about that. And yeah, Tropical is just like, dude, fuck if I know. So I was like, yeah, dude, this is how we got to do it. And it's going to be a nightmare. I don't see how the devs can do another Tarkov. It's never been done before. Ghost of War is attempting it, and I think they're doing a really great job. But yeah, you just don't mess it up. Don't reinvent the wheel and try to limit people's play styles and try to balance it because you're just going to take away the fun at the end of the day. You're going to do it in a way where you think it makes sense and you have tunnel vision because you developed this art piece that you're really happy about. At the end of the day, the free market speaks. So yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I think that's it for our questions. I think, unless
we don't really have much.
Okay, yeah. Well, that was great talking to you. Yeah.
Good. It was a pleasure. Thanks a lot, guys. I love being asked questions.
Yeah. It's really fun doing these interviews. Our other videos are not as fun to write or do. It's just way more fun just talking to content creators and hearing their opinions and stuff. So yeah,
we learn so much.
Yeah. Dude, I love people. I love talking with people, man. It's my favorite thing. Especially in this, man. Ever since I started this content stuff in the Discord, I've met friends. It's such a gift. I'm just so happy I'm involved in this, and it plays on my strengths, and it's just such a fun hobby to do. And as long as you love people, man, I think the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Well, so thank you very much, guys, for giving me that opportunity. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.